On today's show, we're training Rover not to run all over, or go all over for that matter. We'll have two contestants competing to prove who can create the perfect pet paradise for a place to play in the process of potty training our pooches. Stay tuned for some great canine capers on this week's episode of Tough Grit.
Hey Shannon, what do you got there?
Oh, hey Caleb, look what I found in our trailer when I got here this morning.
There they are. I've been looking all over for those.
You have?
Sure. Those are the dog treats for today's episode.
Dog treats?
Well, I call them treats, but they're also excellent for oral care or maintaining a dog's shiny coat.
Caleb, I've been eating these things for the last half hour.
You feeling all right?
Fine, actually. Except for an odd desire to chase cars, and I want to scratch behind my ear with my left leg. Is that a cat over there? Anyway, maybe you've had a dog that was a digger and wouldn't stay inside the fence. Or maybe you've been putting off getting a puppy for your family because the thought of training one just seemed, well, a little overwhelming.
Or perhaps you have a dog that could really use its own entrance to prevent you from opening doors at all hours. As pet owners, we've all found ourselves stepping into a big pile of tough grit.
That's where we come in. I'm Shannon Riley.
And I'm Caleb Regan. Today, we're going to show you how to get your dog training jobs done and done right the first time. And we're going to give you some cool tools and equipment to help you with that job.
And we're going to throw in a little friendly competition between neighbors to find out who's really top dog in doggy care. Let's meet today's contestants.
Our first contestant is Scott Smith from Warrensburg, Missouri. Scott is a teacher who lives on 5 acres with his wife, Andy, and their 3 daughters. He enjoys fishing and golfing and has a beagle named Dozer.
Scott is really good with dogs. He taught his how to speak, but now it's hard to keep his mutt off the phone.
Our second contestant is also from Warrensburg, Missouri. Tommy Myers is a college baseball coach and also loves fishing. Tommy and his wife Tiffany have 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
Tommy loves to make dog sculptures out of candy. He calls them his snicker poodles.
Welcome to Tough Grit.
Now it's time to find out what your project's going to be. Your Tough Grit challenge today is installing an electric dog barrier and putting in a doggy door.
Let's say you want to give your dog the freedom to roam your homestead without doing all the work involved with building several stretches of fence.
Your first challenge will be to lay out an area for your dog barrier. You'll trench, then install the wires and mark them with flags.
Your second challenge today will be to install a dog door. First, you'll be cutting a hole in a door, and then you'll install a dog door in a timed challenge.
A personal entrance for Fido. Wow. Next, you'll want to monogram feeding bowls and filtered water. Now, I know this job sounds difficult, but don't start growling yet. We have 2 experts here to help coach and advise you all the way through this challenge.
First up, we have Hank Will. Hank is the editor-in-chief of Grit Magazine. Hank's canine compadres include George, a Cairn Terrier, Molly, a Border Terrier, and Clover, a Border Collie.
Hank's dog George is a real amazing dog. The last time Hank told him to heel, he took a job in a hospital.
And from the Tractor Supply store in Crossville, Tennessee, we have Roxanne Dunn. She owns a whole pack of dogs, but her favorite is a Basset Hound named Topper.
Roxanne believes that having a dog can lift anyone out of the blues. She says dogs can give anyone a new leash on life.
Our experts will be coaching you in your challenges and helping you stick to our 3 criteria of efficiency, accuracy, and safety. Whichever one of you does that the best will walk away with up to a $1,000 gift card to Tractor Supply Company.
$1,000 to Tractor Supply Company? Just imagine all the chew toys you can buy for your dogs.
We'll also be using some great tools and products today, like the Pet Safe in-ground fence and aluminum dog door, and also a string trimmer equipped with an edger attachment.
But before we get to today's challenges, let's go to our experts for some detailed information about invisible fences and training your dogs to respect them.
Scott, if you train your dog properly, buried fence is a really effective way to keep the dog out of trouble, out of your neighbor's trash, really out of harm's way in general. Essentially how it works is you've got a buried wire, and as the dog approaches the wire, there's a wide zone of sort of indication that it's getting near the barrier. The collar will buzz or something, otherwise let the dog know. If the dog gets too close, it'll actually correct him.
Tom, we're putting boundary flags in today. That way you and your dog know where the boundary is going to be. What you'll do is you'll take the collar, you'll get about the same height as the dog, you'll wait till it beeps, and then you'll put that flag right before it beeps. And then you'll just go all the way around the perimeter with that.
Now, Scott, by the time you're ready to start training your dog to defense, you'll want to have established yourself as the leader of your little pack.
So he knows I'm in charge, right?
Yeah, he needs to know you're in charge, and one of the ways that you can sort of facilitate that is you can put him through some sit training. Essentially just several times a day, come up to your dog, pat him on the head, and then insistently and calmly tell him to sit or ask him to sit, and reward him when he does it.
At first, your dog's not going to sit down on command. So what you want to do is gently press his rump to the ground and say sit, and give him a treat and keep praising him.
Good boy.
And eventually he will do that on command.
Scott, the cues that you use to teach your dog simple tricks, you can also use to teach them more complicated tricks. When it comes to fence training, it can be relatively easy and painless. I'd say spend 10 to 15 minutes a day with your dog for a couple of weeks showing him the boundaries, and I think he'll get it.
So how do I train him to stay in the boundary?
You first put a leash on him, and then you're going to lead him up to the boundary. And as you get to the boundary, of course the collar's going to go off, and you want him to come back to you, and then you're going to praise him. He wants to associate being praised and staying on the inside of the boundary, and when he goes to the other side, it's going to be on a correction.
All right, for our first challenge of the day, our two contestants will be installing a dog fence. They'll trench the first portion of their boundary by hand, and then the rest with the edger.
Ah, for real mano a machino portion to this competition, eh?
That's right, and then they'll have to install the wire and their flags, and we'll hook it up. This collar that Shannon and I have will give a signal when it's all working properly. Make sure you work safe and use all the safety gear provided.
Experts will be allowed to give advice, but they can't do any of the work, the lucky dogs. The first contestant finished installing their portion of the perimeter barrier is the winner. Good luck to you both. Ready, set, go! I really dig this contest.
That's way more. That's way more than you need. That's good.
Good.
Creating a little edge.
Ah, this is a true battle, a real trench warfare.
Both men working down that first portion of 10 feet with their shovels.
And the straighter we get it, the easier it'll be to snake it in there.
Laying it in there is going to be
yeah.
tougher, isn't it?
That's good.
These two guys look like the right gentlemen for this type of work.
The ground is really hard.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Need some rain, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, 3 or 4 more, I think.
Hey now, they're ahead of us. Hurry up. Yes!
Oh, I didn't realize.
Speed up some.
All right, you ready to go?
Got my line?
That's your line. Let's swap.
Choke her up all the way.
We'll see which one of our contestants can turn their fence into a fortune from Tractor Supply Company when we return on Tough Grit.
It's tough to imagine life out here without a dog or 3 around the place. But even in the country, you'll want to take care that your canine companions can live a relatively safe and happy life. The farm seems like an ideal location for dogs to live the good life, and that's mostly true. But there are still plenty of pitfalls and potential dangers that require diligence on your part so that your partners and pets can experience the best the setting has to offer. Dogs love to chase, and chasing machinery with huge bar-lug tires can convert your canine compadres to furry pancake in a heartbeat. If they can't be successfully trained to avoid chasing, then it might be best to keep them in a fenced yard when you are otherwise occupied. Terriers love to hunt rodents, and we all know that farms, especially grain and livestock farms, tend to attract them. Take care that your beloved Cairn Terrier doesn't get poisoned by the same bait you use to control the rats. And no matter how well trained, most dogs will follow a rabbit right into the path of an oncoming vehicle's tire. I've had herding dogs, terriers, and lovable mutts around my place, and I simply cannot imagine life without them. I've been privy to the kind of dog joy that comes from games of chase, alternating with cooling dips in the pond. I've also felt the deep pain from losing a friend or working partner because I didn't do all I might have done. Spend a little time training yourself to anticipate and prevent potential dog disasters. Your entire family will be glad you did.
We're right in the thick of our first challenge, installing an electric dog fence. Our contestants have to dig a trench, first by hand and then with an edger.
Then they'll have to put in the wire and the flags, and we'll hook it up. It's a close call right now. Let's see who's going to finish the fastest. There goes Scott. His is running.
Let it ride on that wheel, yeah. full throttle the whole time.
For those of you watching at home, we want to assure you no gophers were harmed during the filming of this segment.
Now Scott's getting the hang of it. Out to a little bit of an early lead.
Back it up once real quick. All right, now go, yeah.
Tommy closing that gap.
This is a lot like the Kentucky Derby, except no horses and there's no jockeys. Never mind, it has nothing to do with the Kentucky Derby.
Kill the machine.
All right, go ahead and just lay your cord in.
Pretty even at this point.
Make sure it's in there really good.
We'll have to come back and do the end, but that's okay. I think I'd rather just have you finish this part.
Both contestants pretty even at this point. Team Grit's installing their flags as they go, which could make the difference. You guys need to tuck that last bit down there in the corner. Yep. And time, that's it. That's it.
Excellent. Well, this has potential to be a very shocking episode. Great job, everybody. Come on over here. Well, Caleb, our lines are in. Who's our victor?
You both did a great job installing that invisible barrier. Tommy, you just looked like you were moving a little quicker laterally down that line on the ground. You finished first. You just won the first challenge. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Tommy. What gave you the edge?
Well, I think Roxanne had a great plan of attack as we started. She got me going with the shovel, and even though we were behind, we had it timed out pretty well to finish strong.
Great. Well, it was a very close race, Scotty, so don't play dead as we go into challenge number 2.
We'll get him next time.
All right.
Now that we have our invisible barrier up, we can put in a dog door and let Dozer out to roam. Stay here for a second exciting challenge and more on dog safety and training right here on Tough Grit.
Welcome back to Tough Grit. We're glad you stayed with us. Training a new puppy or dog can be a big job, but our experts are here to give you some tips on this tough task.
You know, Scott, if you're fortunate enough to have a fully fenced yard or you live somewhere where you don't really need to worry about where your dog goes, you could install a dog door, something like this, and the dog can make its own choice as to whether it wants to come and go.
So how hard is it to install one of these doors correctly?
Installing the door is not hard. It comes with directions in there, and there's also a template. According to the dog's size, you put the template on the door, and you're going to trace out around the door. Double check your measurements before you cut, just so you can make sure that you're not going to mess up, because you only get one shot at it.
For example, you want to measure the chest height of the dog that's going to use the door, and you want to install the door so that the lower edge is roughly that chest height, so the dog can easily get in and out.
A dog door can be very convenient for a pet owner and a pet. However, it still requires some training. The dog realizes that there's a door there, but he's also used to you opening it, so he's not going to realize that he can go in and out.
So I can lead the dog to the door. What are the steps for making him go through?
You know, it's a really good question. Essentially what you want to do is you want to get the dog up to the door, you'll be on the opposite side, lift the door open and encourage him to come maybe with a treat. If he comes, you know, give him lots of praise, then go ahead and leave the door ajar. Come here, Rolo, and he'll potentially do it himself. Come on, Rolo. Good boy, good boy. Want a treat? There you go.
Installing the pet door allows him to come in and out, which makes it really convenient for both you and your pet. That makes a better partnership for you and him.
And now it's time for challenge number 2, installing a doggy door, a private entrance for privileged pooches.
For this challenge, contestants will each measure and check for square. Then they'll cut a hole and install the frame and door. This one's about accuracy over efficiency, so the best installation will win. But contestants need to work fairly quick because time is the tiebreaker. Work safely and good luck.
Ready, set, go.
All right, first thing you want to do is measure.
That's a good idea.
Measure.
Measure.
Let's be sure. Yeah, that looks pretty square, yeah. Good. I just got to draw a line, right?
Yep, let's do it.
At 18. Yeah, I'm supposed to use this, but I got to get it to 18.
Now they have to measure these doggy doors to make sure a doggy can go through simply. Of course, if you're like me and you've trained your dog to walk on his hind legs, it comes in a revolving door edition.
You okay?
Yep, I think so, yeah.
Team Grit has measured 24 inches to the top of the door. It's actually supposed to be 24 inches to the top of the shoulder.
That's where I want my holes. So can I go ahead?
I would put my door over here and double check your measurements just in case.
Double check. So I need to be up 24. So is that where I want to be?
Right there.
Now let's just measure that from both sides just to be sure that our math is right.
Yeah, we're good now.
Go ahead and angle this way, just so you're going straight.
So now I want to go right in these corners, right?
Yes, drill the holes.
All right.
You know, we wouldn't have to do this if we could just teach dogs how to use keys. As in life, it's hard cutting corners.
Good.
Right after these messages, we'll be back with more crazy canine care competition here on Tough Grit.
Young puppies can't hold it, and they have to go about 6 times a day. It's ideal to have someone with your pet when they are new to your home for many reasons, but one of the most important ones is to rush them outside when they start to sniff around in circles, looking for a place to do their business. If you can't find a pet sitter, put newspaper down on the floor of one area of your home and confine them there, changing the papers every time they are soiled. When housebreaking, it's important to realize that your dog doesn't make any connection between himself and the mess on the floor. He will realize that the mess makes you unhappy if you scold him, but he won't realize that he needs to stop making the mess. In order to teach him to go outside, you actually have to catch him about to go and take him outside. Always take your dog to the same spot. He will associate it with relieving himself. Try to use a word like outside every time you take him out to go. You'll be surprised at how quickly he'll learn that going outside is the thing to do. And if you're consistent, you'll find that you can say outside and he'll find a way to tell you, yeah, that's where I need to go. Praising your pet when they make it outside in time will reinforce this behavior.
Our contestants are racing to finish their dog door installations. They had to cut the holes in the doors, and now they're installing their frames and flaps.
We'll soon know who's the doggy door diva and who has to face the dog door of doom.
All right, let's take a quick measure.
I used the wrong one. I used the wrong template. That'll make good for good TV right there.
Tape it there at the bottom and then tape it up here where we had the shoulder height.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have one of their sides in.
Do they really?
Yeah. You're right on the edge. Can you not move it over?
I'm pushing as far as I can.
Oh. That could be a problem.
Yep, it is.
Up at the top, you're okay.
I got too wide right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one way to do it.
Of course, once I get these doors in, I've got to go back and do the doorbell. There's no point in doing it unless you're going to do it right.
I think you can pull a little tighter though. But
Go, but don't break it.
let me go around. It's all right, Hank. I'll see if those have seated okay. Yeah, they look okay.
Just a few snips away.
Closing in on the final moments here.
That's as far as I can get it to twist that plastic screw.
Do we want to give it a quick measure? There's not really much we can do.
I think it's good.
All right, we're done.
What's up, Hank?
Team Grit finished with their dog door installation. They own the tiebreaker.
That one's not going down, is it?
Nope. Well, it's in. It's just not in correctly.
All right, good job, everybody. Come on down here. Caleb, that was a
guys.
very interesting challenge. We had a couple of door issues, wouldn't you say? What'd you think?
Yeah, we had a couple issues. From the outset, we said the shoulder height on the template had to be at 24 inches. You guys measured a few times. It's perfectly square, but you made your top cut at 24 inches. So your door's actually a little lower than it should be. Nice installation though, it's square. Tom, yours is actually inside out, so you're gonna have a couple security issues, and the trim is not up flush against the door. Scott, I have to say you just won yourself a $500 gift card to Tractor Supply Company.
Thanks so much.
Congratulations. How's it feel?
Fantastic. I apologize on our short door, but I do have a beagle, so he's a little lower.
Understandable.
Scott, don't feel bad. You also won a challenge today, and you get a $500 gift card from Tractor Supply. What are you gonna get?
I need a drill for the house.
Well, that sounds great. And if you're sitting at home right now thinking, doggone, that looks so easy, I want to be a contestant on the Rule America Challenge, here's how you can become a contestant on Tough Grit.
To sign up, go to toughgrit.com and click on the I Can Do That button, or look for the advertisement in Grit Magazine. Don't wait, sign up today. So now you know almost everything you need to know about dog fences, doggy doors, and dog training. And if you'd like to learn more, visit toughgrit.com. I'm glad you could be with us today, and I look forward to the next time we see you. Shannon, what on earth are you still eating those for?
I know, Caleb. I just can't stop eating these special doggy treats. They're so tasty.
And you're not worried at all about the side effects?
Are you kidding? Look how shiny my coat is. Feel my nose.
I'm Caleb Regan.
And I'm Shannon Riley. And when you see us coming, you know you're in Tough Grit.